And from the wonderful prayers that are found in the Psalms, we hear Psalm 13. How long, O God, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my anguish and wallow in despair all day long? How long will my enemy win over me? Look at me, answer me, O God, my God. Give light to my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest my enemies say, I have prevailed. Lest my foes rejoice when I fall. I trust in your love. My heart rejoices in the deliverance you bring. I'll sing to you, O God, for being so good to me.
As you have listened, and now as you reflect upon the words of Psalm 13, hearing the words of how long, O God, will you never forget me? Look at me, answer me, oh my God. I trust in your love. I invite you to take a moment now and to reflect upon its words and how you would, if you had the opportunity, write this psalm just for yourself. Perhaps in your imagination, you'll write it out on a chalkboard. Perhaps if you have pen and paper, you may want to scribble a few things down. What would be the words of your own psalm? The Reverend Elizabeth Dilly, who is our denomination's team leader for ministerial excellence, support, and authorization, writes Psalm 13 in this way for herself. Look, God, I know 1,000 years are like one day for you, but one single day of your face hidden from sight is like 1,000 years for me. How much longer must I endure the pain of this separation? How many days must I go on walking, lying down, crying, with only this huge, gaping hole in my heart? People are celebrating my downfall. Those who hate me rise and rise. I need an answer. I need you. I'm dying here with the light and hope of my life fading. And won't that make my enemies happier than anything? But I trusted you before. It feels like 1,000 years ago. So I will trust again. I will rejoice in your salvation because your love does not end. Not for 1,000 years. That hole in my heart will be filled with a song of praise, and your generosity will never be forgotten. But please hurry up. Often, for myself and for others, we want things to hurry up. We tell loved ones if we're running late, hurry up, we're going to be late. Sometimes we want to hurry things along just to get it over with. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And sometimes we wonder, how long, oh God, will this continue? We live in a time and in a world and in a nation. We wonder how long. Perhaps we have dreamed of justice rolling down among us. Perhaps we have seen glimpses. But for some of us, perhaps this past week has made us wonder where we are going. We wonder about racial inequality. We worry about changes of law that we've known for 40 years or more. We wonder where will all find place for service, not based upon sexual orientation or skin color. Some have said to me, it feels like we're going backwards. And we still cry, how long, oh Lord, how long? About a decade ago, when I was serving as the interim dean of Hendricks Chapel at Syracuse University, I was invited by the pagan chaplain to come out to Long Branch Park out on Onaga Lake in Syracuse to join them for a few moments of pagan pride. I showed up that afternoon. Things were beginning to wind down, actually, but their chaplain, Mary, met me as we were walking in, and she says, oh, come with me. And as she was walking out, she walked out to the front and she with a bottle of water, and she handed it to him. Now, him had been, for the last 2 or 3 hours, I understand, had been protesting their very presence at the park. You can imagine the signs that he was holding. You can imagine what she was shouting. But she went up, handed him a cold bottle of water, and said, here you go, Harold. I don't want to see you dehydrate out here. It's quite hot and humid today. Take care of yourself. I wanted to pull Mary, the chaplain, aside and say, listen, what are you doing? He doesn't want you to be out here. But she did what seemed impossible. She handed her adversary a cold bottle of water. Perhaps we live in a time now where we're going to be handing out a lot more bottles of cold water. Perhaps we're going to have to work a bit harder when we've relied upon others and systems to make sure justice was achieved. It's going to be more up to you and me. For if we believe that every child deserves a quality education and to aspire to the highest ranks of academic success in the Ivy Leagues or the schools of their choice, you and I and others along the way, we're going to have to be those people of welcome. We can't wait on the system to make it fair. We're going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to have to get in there and do the work. Yes, some of us will help write legislation. Some of us will help assure that the future. But for now, it's you and me. Perhaps we've been tutors before in school. Perhaps we will want to become tutors now in those underprivileged schools. Perhaps we want to be a little bit more conscious when we go shopping to look at the labels, decide where the items come from, and whether our gorgeous clothes were made in conditions that may still be human slavery at work. Perhaps we will be more conscious to understand who's making our cake. Perhaps we'll be more conscious and be willing to pay a bit more, even in recession, to ensure that folks are paid a fair wage. Now, granted, I still want to chastise Mary. Why would you give your enemy a cold bottle of water? If they would just pipe down and simmer down, perhaps we could turn this whole government system around and we could achieve the utopia that we have dreamed of. Perhaps we need to remember that Jesus called and told his disciples to welcome. We say it every week in worship. Welcome to Mountain Rise United Church of Christ. Perhaps we need to shout it from the mountaintops and from our very places. We welcome you. We welcome to be in journey with you. We welcome to do the work with you. We welcome perhaps be in dialogue too with those who rub us a little the wrong way. For slogans and chants can only do so much. It's when we invest our lives in giving that cup of cold water or giving that child a chance that God's welcome rings round this earth.